We're having some crazy weather today. I'm always telling you guys it doesn't rain here in the summertime, and usually that's true. But I guess the exception is when you've got hay on the ground that's almost ready to bale. Well, Mother Nature figures out a way to do it. Up to this point, the sky does look ominous and you can hear thunder booming in the background, but it hasn't actually rained that much. Just a couple light little sprinkles here and there. Nothing that would account to more than what a heavy dew would on the hay. So as of now, we're okay, but with thunderstorms, you never know. They could open up and drop an inch here any minute. So I'll be keeping an eye on the weather today. Not that there's anything I can do about it, but you know, just so I kind of know what I'm dealing with moving forward. But in the meantime, let's get this baler ready to go, and whatever else comes up, that's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. That was tight, goodness. What I ended up doing is just getting an old screwdriver out of my junk box and sharpening the end, and now it makes a really good seal extractor. I finally got that seal to pop out, and as soon as I did, I had the realization that the seal that I removed is not the same as the seal that came in the kit. This is the original seal. You can see it's got like a metal casing on it, and this is the seal that I felt like was the closest to the right size. No metal casing, and you can see it just has all kinds of room to wiggle around in there. Same with this one. Same thing, definitely not fitting there. So this is frustrating to say the least. I got the kit with the part number that the manual tells me my cylinder needs, but this bag that showed up from eBay was already opened once and taped back closed. So I guess that's just the chance you take. So we're up against it now, aren't we? I guess this is a trip to the hydraulic shop or possibly the John Deere dealer. Hey Josh, my name's Tyler. I've got a 467 round baler, and I'm looking for a hydraulic cylinder rebuild kit. All right, well, lucky me, it looks like the nearest John Deere dealer to me does actually have this kit. So let's run over there and grab it. I'm gonna bring this piece with me so that I can ensure that things are gonna fit before I bring it home. But yeah, we might have just got a little stroke of luck here. I haven't been down this road in a few years, but it's about as rough as I remember it. Where I'm driving right now is actually within the levee system. So in the wintertime, if we get a lot of rain or high water, this will all be flooded down here and you would not be able to drive through it. And I guess because of that fact, they just never bothered to pave it. Now we're in what's known as the Robbins Basin. There is a ton of rice in this country, some row crops as you get closer to the river, some sunflowers, things like that. But when I think of this area, I think of rice. And now we're in Robbins, population 323. The thing that really puts Robbins on the map is this John Deere dealership that we're going to. Well, that was a waste of my life. They had the same seal kit that I have at home, and as we know, that's not going to work. So I don't know, there's something weird about this cylinder that I have. Apparently they're having trouble locating the correct parts, and by having trouble I mean they can't do it. So I am gonna try to go to a hydraulic repair shop and see if maybe they got something that'll work, and hopefully they can get us going. Update, 2 hydraulic shops later, and I think we're finally back in business. The first one I went to did not have a mechanic on site, and therefore they were unable to measure the seals, and they told me that even if they could measure them, that they would not have them on hand and it would take a week for them to show up. So that wasn't gonna work. So I ended up going to Sweco Manufacturing in Sutter, and they were able to rather quickly measure those seals and pull some off the shelf and get me all set up. So I think I'm cautiously optimistic that we might actually get this put back together today. Seems like the entire video up to this point has just been me driving around talking to you guys. So hopefully that part is gonna be over. Not bad for a day's work. And of course I'm being sarcastic. It's kind of ridiculous that I feel like that's really the only thing I got done today. But it is done and it's ready to go back on the baler. Unfortunately, I've got other things that I need to do before the sun goes down. I don't think we got enough rain this morning to hurt this, but I still had to come out and check it, you know, because it's right here. Oh yeah, nice and crispy. Crispy on top, soft on the bottom, just as I would expect it to be. Still gonna be a couple days before I wanna try to bale it, but we are on track. And I know I said that this paddock was probably gonna be the last one that I try to cut and bale this year as we get into fall, but you know, I'm standing out here, the sun's blaring down on me, and it's like, I still got time. I feel like maybe I could squeeze one more in. And I think the paddock that I would choose would be this last one here down at the end that I'm standing in now. To cut this entire thing, I would have to take 4 days out of my grazing rotation, including this and the one that's already laying down right now, which I think I can manage. The good thing about this paddock is that it's on high ground and the rice drain water will not be a factor down here. So we'll see. I mean, I would like to try to cut as many of these paddocks as I possibly can until it just gets too wet and cold to do it anymore. But I kind of figure, you know, I may as well just keep going with it. And then when I get to the point where I cut a paddock and I just can't get the grass to dry down to the point where I can bale it, well, then I can just turn the cows out here and let them eat it. Any miracles happen today? It's been a little over a week since I found this calf out in the field and brought it up here in the working corral to try and treat it and make it feel better. But the reality is that it's really not improving in any measurable amount. And I think it's time that we have a talk about what will happen next. I spoke with a vet today and sent them some videos of the calf doing what it does and kind of told them the background about everything that's happened and where we've gotten to this point. And the way I understand it, several vets took a look at the video footage that I sent over there, and they all agreed that they think this is some sort of nerve damage caused by an injury, but they're unsure whether or not it is spinal or neurological. I've been advised to take the calf off of all painkillers because we need them to sort of work their way out of its system. And after that happens, we're gonna put the calf on, let me make sure I'm saying it right, dexamethasone. So the calf has to go 1 week with no pain medication before I can start it on the dex. And after we run through the dexamethasone treatment, we'll see where we're at. If there's no improvement by then we can rest assured knowing that we tried everything we could and that this is a permanent injury that's just not going to be fixed. But after we run through all the dexamethasone, maybe things will get better. If by the end of the dex treatment the calf is not showing any signs of improvement, then I've made the decision, as I've already stated, that I'm going to donate the calf to the UC Davis Vet School. And when I said that before, I think some people misinterpreted that and they thought that I would be taking the calf there for treatment. What I meant is that the calf would be euthanized and then taken to the vet school so they can practice whatever they practice with it, surgeries or something, I guess. And I think that's the best possible outcome if things don't go the way that we want. So I'm not giving up yet, but I would say we're no longer in the wait and see phase of this. Now we've pretty much got a defined timeline, and when we get to the end of that timeline, it'll just depend on where the calf is at and what we end up doing. So I can at least hang my hat on the fact that I tried everything I know to do. Now we're going to try what the vet knows to do, and you know, the rest of it is in the hands of fate. Okay, mother, you can have her back now. And you know, let's take a moment to appreciate cow number 44. She's been locked up just as long as the baby has. And while she does spend most of her time standing at the gate looking at the other cows, she's never once tried to run me over or gotten aggressive with me. And pretty much every day I'm in here doing something with her calf. And it's usually things that to a mother cow probably don't look too good, like sitting on its back and administering medication. I never realized that 44 was such a gentle cow, but apparently she is. $8,000 volts ought to be enough to keep them out of the hayfield. Normally I don't charge the back wire because they've already grazed the paddock that would be over here and they're moving that way, and there's really no incentive for them to want to go back into what they just grazed. But in this case, they'll be looking at freshly cut hay that should be ready to bale in the next day or so. So we want to make sure they stay out of it. A couple more wires to set and then we can run down and get them. Due to the fact that I'm cutting them off here halfway through the back pasture on this go around, whereas normally they'd be used to running clear down to the end, because they kind of know after doing this so many times that when they move to the back field that they're going to go down to that furthest paddock and then graze their way back up. So I put the post here because this time of day, hopefully you can tell, the sun hits it just right to really make it pop and show up. So when they start running down here, I'm hoping that catches their eye and then they realize that there is a wire going across here and they know to stop and turn. Well, it looks like everybody's ready to move, but we've got one issue. This calf, number 10 here, somehow has gotten into the wrong pasture, and we got to get her back in here with the main group before we decide to move. Hello, sir. My big puppy dog here. Oh, look at that. It was that easy. That could have gone a lot of different ways. I'm glad it went that way. Come on. Will they make the turn? Well, they made it down there fine, and they even stopped at the wire, so this is good. Well, I have to say, this video really did not go the way that I thought or hoped that it would, but you know, this is life. This is the reality of it. This is just the way things go sometimes. And when things go sideways, it's not really that fun while you're living it, but when you look back, this is when you learn the most. And now, from all of this, I learned that when I'm in a pinch, I now know where to go to get hydraulic seals if this ever happens again. So I guess the lesson in all this is, you know, operate on plan A, but always have a plan B and even a plan C in your back pocket, because you just never know how things are gonna work out. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.